Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. When it comes to the Warzone meta, obviously already this year, even though it's really just the beginning, we're still in season 1, we've got so many choices when it comes down to your style of gameplay. Whether you are a main sniper and you're always going for aggressive sniping, the one shots with the cat, obviously pairing that with solid rifles or SMGs for sniper support. Maybe you're more of a run and gun style player, whatever the case may be. Across all MW2 guns and all MW3 guns, there's a lot of variety to choose from, and today I got you all covered regardless of what weapon you're looking to play with or your play style in general, with the best setup for every single gun in the game as it stands right now. And over time this will continue to stand true because of what I've sort of set up in place for this system. So as we get into it, if you enjoy the video, if you find it helpful at all, do me a favor, drop a like on the video. Much love to everyone who does take the time to do so. And of course, if you're new here, you want to guarantee that every single day you are up to date with the latest news, updates, meta breakdowns, patch notes, all things going on in COD. This is the place to be, so feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. So obviously in game you've got your custom loadouts, right? You can go through, set them up with whatever you're trying to run at any given moment, whether the meta is the interceptor going crazy with the Bass B like it was back on day 1, or maybe you're more of like a regular Bass B player trying to mess around with some other stuff. Whatever the new meta weapon might be at any given time, obviously you want to have the best setup for that applicable. And I've actually gone through and built out the best loadout for all guns in the game, whether it's MW2 or MW3, in its own unique way. But initially, before that, obviously it's not just weapons that make the best loadout, right? Perks and equipment are a huge deal as well. So briefly touching on these, when it comes to your tactical, you got a few decent options here. I still think currently in their current form, whether they get buffed or nerfed in the future, it might change, but as it stands, smokes are just so clutch because they're kind of a do-it-all answer for any situation. You're running through an open field and you need cover, throw down a smoke. You need to rotate from point A to point B and you don't want to have a gunfight in the middle of it, throw down a smoke. You need to get a quick res, throw down a smoke. This thing is so clutch in so many different ways. So that's definitely my go-to tactical. That said, stuns are always solid, as are flashes. Snapshots are even pretty good if you have like restock or something on. And then of course stims do give you that like slight added boost and insta heal your core health. So those are a good choice as well. But to me, smokes definitely have the most upsides. Then when it comes to lethals, this really probably just depends the most on what you're playing. For resurgence style gameplay, when you need those insta finishes so you can quickly go through and get those pings on your mini map, throwing knives are going to be the way to go. The one-hit instas, they're obviously clutch for that. For standard battle royale gameplay, it's got to be semtexes or frags. If you can cook frags really well and you know the timing, these are great. Semtexes to me are the most clutch for an actual explosive lethal, just because they really force players to move out. There's no ability to throw them back. You can stick players with them, obviously, so these are a great choice as well. So any of those three would be my recommended choice there. And then for perks, I mean, we've definitely got some options here. I've actually already gone through and sort of ranked all the perks in the game across all 4 perk slots, but perk 1 is pretty straightforward in my opinion. Sleight of hand is an interesting one just because it differs for every gun in the game, which is just a really strange way to do it, but it is what it is. Some guns really benefit from sleight of hand and have a much faster reload. Other guns have a faster reload than their base one, but it's not crazy fast. To me though, the upsides for this most of the time is definitely worth it. And then double time, obviously getting a faster tac sprint refresh and a longer tac sprint duration is huge in this game because you're going to be tac sprinting probably more than anything else there. Obviously EOD is a great one as well for preventing you from getting instantly blown up from explosives. Battle hardened is decent as well for being immune to stuns, flashes, and whatnot as well. And then also Mountaineer, reducing the fall damage. The radius on this, or the distance, is crazy good. So if you're constantly chasing players, you don't want to have to parachute to prevent the fall damage or anything, this is a clutch one too. Like, this is really underrated in my opinion. So any of those aforementioned ones for perk 1 / perk 2 are a great combination. For perk 3, to me it's a little bit more straightforward. Quick fix is clutch for that instant health regen whenever you start to put on a plate, or obviously you get a full finish. Tempered, because you only have to plate up 2 times instead of 3 to get full health. And then resupply for recharging all your equipment over 50 seconds. Those are going to be the main 3 there. Everything else here is just kind of but when it comes to tempered, keep in mind this is also a vest you can find in game. Now me personally, I think the medic vest is the most important, so I'd much rather be able to mix mix and match. Tempered as a perk, and then the medic vest, you're not always guaranteed to, you know, have it the other way. So, you know, when it comes to looting that stuff in game, it's obviously a bit more RNG based, but having tempered as a default, you know, safety net, regardless of if I find the vest in game, is really, really clutch. And then perk 4 is by far the most competitive. You've got so many good choices here. Obviously, Ghost being able to stay off the radars, that's clutch in and of itself. Flex kind of helps with footstep audio. It's certainly situational, but it is something that does help out. Combat Scout being able to live ping is great. To me, Bird's Eye is so clutch because it gives you more information on your UAVs. It also counters ghosts, so even if a player is ghosted, you still see them. And then, of course, High Alert, getting that vision pulse if someone's looking at you, great as well. So this one's definitely what you value the most. I don't think there's a true best here, just because there's so many good choices. To me, Bird's Eye is the most powerful for my sort of style of play, always trying to spam UAVs and, you know, push enemies. But if you're a little bit more relaxed or you just like the information, High Alert's great, Combat Scout's great. If you depend on audio a lot, Flex is good too. So obviously you can apply that stuff to all your loadouts. Now let's talk weapons in specific. And for this, we actually have to head out of game over to my Warzone loadout / COD community page, where now that we've had plenty of time to go through and test things and figure out all the base stats thanks to true game data and whatnot, I've gone through, and as you can see, I've got quite a few loadout builds on this page. In fact, I've got loadouts for every single weapon in Warzone. I've also done the same for Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer if you're interested in that. But for Warzone, 110 loadouts across the board for MW2 and obviously MW3. So we can scroll for quite some time here, and you're going to see every gun in the game's got its optimal setup. So you can actually go through here, and this is something that I will continuously update over time. You know, say the Fennec 45, which we've already seen get nerfed earlier on this year, changes the setup some. We can go through and I can say, okay, I need to, you know, delete, let's say, the flash hider muzzle, and I need to throw on something else. Say we want to use like a Spirit Fire suppressor or something, or a Shadow Strike. I can quickly go through and put that on there and update the setup as needed, and then go through and it'll update right away for you guys to see, which is super, super convenient. But obviously, you know, the meta evolves over time constantly. The Ram 7 is a fantastic rifle, but let's say it gets hard nerfed, and then suddenly the MTZ 556 becomes great, or the MCW gets a buff, which it probably is due for considering its TTK is so bad compared to all the other rifles. You know, suddenly that, you know, falls into the meta, and you're like, well, I've been using the Ram, I had a good setup for that. Now I got to figure out what's going on at the MCW. Obviously, we're going to be updating the meta in specific videos, breaking down, you know, the new best rifles, or the new long range meta, or the new general top 10, whatever the case may be, you know, from time to time when we see meta updates. But if you quickly want to go through and see, okay, maybe for now, this is what's considered a go-to MCW setup, this will be readily available for you right away. You can also sort by category here, which is super cool. So if you're only looking for SMGs, we got all these listed out here, obviously nice and convenient, including all the MW2 ones and the MW3 ones. But you could also go through and filter for play style as well. So if you're looking for sniper support style builds that I've made specifically for this style of play, you've got this readily available. Obviously, guns like the Chimera and the FR Avancer are fantastic for sniper support in this game, so you can go through and quickly select those. If you're looking for something that is just straight up a sniper here, obviously the Cat AMR being a one-shot, we've got that fully updated as well. You've got your long range built out, you've got your close range built out. Like I said, regardless of your play style, what guns you're, you know, favoring, whether it's always SMGs or always shotties, whatever the case may be. I've gone through, data tested these, looked at all the advanced stats, compared the TTKs, really tried to figure out what absolutely is going to be the go-to for any given gun. And like I said, as we see changes, new buffs, new nerfs, attachment updates, new weapons added into the mix as well, they'll all be updated here on my COD community page. And I'll leave a link to this down in the description below. And then also there is an app for the App Store and the Android Store, Google Play and whatnot. So you can download it on your phone and have this readily available to quickly translate into your gameplay. So rather than, you know, spamming setup every single day when there's a new update or as things change over time, this is a nice little hub that I'll try my best to keep up to date on top of these standard usual meta breakdown videos as well. So that's gonna wrap things up. If you found this video helpful or you simply enjoyed it, do me a favor, drop a like on it. And if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button on your way out to stay up to date with all things going on in COD. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.